It's Paul Marsh here on Express, and I am delighted to be joined by journalist and the Gadget Show presenter Georgie Barrat, and also Katy Medlock, who is the GM for UK Back Market. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So we're going to talk about something today that, I think we've all got one. I think we're probably all a little bit embarrassed by the one that we do have. And I think we would all like it to be a little bit better than what it is. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, well, I am talking about something that we all have, and that is a messy drawer at home.
Is that what you call it? I think I call mine a drawer of doom, but I think everybody does have a messy drawer, don't they? It's the drawer that collects the random things that you don't quite know what to do with around your house, like blue tack or Allen keys or screws or old receipts, all that stuff just sort of gathers together in one drawer, doesn't it?
So I'll be honest with you, before I met my wife, and certainly before I got married, I had more than just a drawer. I had drawers and boxes and cupboards. And because the thing is, like yourself, obviously, a lot of technology. I've got wires, I've got plugs and cables and all sorts. And, Ethernet cable, the amount of Ethernet cables I have, I don't think
I
I've
know.
ever.
Why does one collect so many of those cables? It's so annoying. And I
And
never have the right end of the cable when I need it.
And I always thought I might need those one day. You never know. If I throw it
Yeah.
away, I am going to need it again. And then my wife just did what all good wives do and just started throwing things away.
Have you ever needed anything though in that time? Have you ever looked back and said,
I
"Oh, if only I had that really niche wire right now."
I would say for every 10 things she's thrown away, I may have needed one of them. So she's probably right, but don't tell her I said that, will you?
No, we won't report back. Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because, Back Market have conducted this research, which has basically found that on average, people have at least three smartphones and two tablets in their messy drawer. Which when you think about that on average, then that means some people must have like five or six phones in there. I know between me and my husband, I think we've got about three smartphones in there. One of them I do want just in case for whatever reason
Yes,
your
exactly
phone
the same as
suddenly
what I've got.
breaks or the screen
Yep.
breaks and you really need a phone. But the other two I look at and I think, oh, you are really sitting there collecting dust. When I know either I could make some money off it or I could, recycle it responsibly, give it to somebody else, whatever it may be, thinking about what I can do with that old tech. And, I'm like you, I love technology and collecting gadgets and always getting the shiniest one. But the problem with that is that you end up with a lot of e-waste. And I've really got to think about, how I responsibly pass that on or make sure that it's recycled. So yeah, those man drawers or messy drawers or drawer dooms, whatever you call, people should have a little look in them and think, is there any tech in there that maybe I could resell? Because actually they hold so much value, even if it's got a cracked screen or it doesn't work properly or you haven't got the right charger.
I
You
think
can find places that take it on and refurbish it.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? I think a lot of people they have one spare phone just in case because you never know. And then we look at maybe other phones that that's got a chip in it or that's got a crack in it or something else like that, and we think nobody's going to want that. What am I going to get for that? A fiver? A tenner? Oh, I'll just throw it away. But it's surprising, isn't it? Because there are so many ways of refurbishing phones, refurbishing technology, and other ways that things we can do with them, and other ways that we can help.
Precisely. And it's so easy, as you said, to just like look at something and think, oh, who wants this? But actually it's got really valuable parts in it still. It can be repurposed. It can, and even if you didn't get a huge amount of money for it, let's say you put it together with, you always create a tech bundle of all the different stuff that you have lying around in your man drawer, then you can send that off and someone you can get a sort of collect your items together to be able to get a chunkier payback for it.
Right. So this is what they're saying at the moment. The average messy drawer, the average junk drawer contains. So I want to
Mm.
see a show of hands here, and also our listeners at home. We can be doing a show of hands as well. The average junk drawer contains tablets, redundant tablets. Now I don't have
Mm.
redundant tablet in my drawer. at the
I have
moment?
one. I have one. I upgraded my tablet probably about a year ago now. And actually, the thing is that the tablet that I have left over is actually it is really it still does the job pretty nicely. So, but I know I should resell it, or I should try and get some money back for it because why do I need two tablets? I really don't need two tablets.
So
Yeah.
old
So yes, I'm guilty of
smartphones.
that.
Any old smartphones? Me, I've got old smartphones. Katie, yeah, old smartphones. Screws or screwdrivers? Anything else like that?
You want lots of screws,
Yeah, yeah.
less of the
Hands
screwdrivers,
up all
probably the more
around.
useful thing to have.
Empty batteries.
Yeah,
Yep.
only because I'm
Not
really
anymore.
want to recycle them. Oh, really? Have you done a recycling thing recently?
Yes, yeah, I was making it out like it was going to be a huge big job, and turns out almost every Waitrose and many other shops as well have got a little bank right by the door. How many times a week are you going into a shop that has it? Keep an eye out when you next go out the glass doors of these shops. There's
I
always a battery
know.
recycling place. So
I
I
always
am
I always
happy.
do that. I put the batteries in my pocket and then I forget to empty it when I'm in the shop, and then I come back and I'm like, why have I got a pocket full of batteries? Ah, I remember.
Don't do what I did, by the way. I one day I forgot why I can't remember why I did it, but I put a battery in my pocket, and then one day I felt an incredible burning in my leg, and of course I had coins in my pocket as well. And yes, I
Oh,
was.
is that a thing? Does it make the battery do funny
Yeah,
things?
yeah. What?
I didn't
Obviously, it
know
acts as a
that.
connector, doesn't it? The copper coins act as a connector with that. So yeah, I'd created an electricity charge in my leg and was burning a hole in my leg. So don't put full batteries in your pocket. There's a
This is
as well.
a clear moral of the story, I think, here is that whatever the cause, whether it's that you can earn cash from what's in your drawer, whether it's to save burning in your leg or to save e-waste from ending up in our landfills, I think the conclusion is pretty clear. It's time to get into recycling tech devices.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely,
absolutely.
absolutely. And also, so for me, like I'm pretty tech savvy, but at Christmas time, I sold a fitness tracker, and the lovely guy that bought it off of me messaged me on Christmas Day whilst I was like in the middle of cooking a Christmas dinner. It was very stressful, and he was like, "Oh, your data is still attached to this fitness tracker." And I was completely convinced. Like obviously, like tried, I went through the motions of trying to factory reset it. Anyway, he'd given it to his wife on Christmas Day, and she like opened it up, tried it on for the first time, and then obviously all my data's on it. So like his present was ruined. I was really worried about my data. I then had to like stop doing Christmas cooking to try and work out how to best like remotely like get it disconnected from my all my data. So I think this is the other thing that people get worried about when it comes to selling, especially something like your phone. Your whole life is on it, and there's so many photos and personal details and passwords and all that stuff that people feel a little bit nervous. I mean, if I'm pretty tech savvy and I manage to not do it correctly, then I'm sure there's lots of people out there who think, oh, I'm not very happy or feel very comfortable about doing this. Which is
I,
where it's really good to look at about selling it to a marketplace like back market who can sort of give you that reassurance that they take it in, they refurb it, and one of the main things they do is make sure it's wiped clean. There isn't anything
Yes.
on there that people can get hold of.
So,
I
Katie, if people are looking to sort of trade in some bits and pieces, whether it's for cash or for the environment, whichever way they're doing it, tell us about Back Market and how they can do that.
Yeah, of course. So we are the world's largest marketplace for refurbished tech, and we really care about that e-waste. A lot of people know about the impact of flying and around the environment, but for us, we're really concerned about e-waste and the fact that 70% of the waste that is toxic in our landfills comes from our electronics, and that's
Mm.
what we're really trying to change. And we want to do that by making sure that people prolong their devices and you hold on to your electronics for longer, and that when people do need to upgrade, they are buying refurbished. So I think when you're talking about your situation, Georgie, where you've sold your watch to this guy, that's more talking about used and secondhand goods, whereas what we are is refurbished. So every product that comes into back market has been refurbished with a 25-point quality check, and we're trying to make that buying experience just like buying new. So you've got 12-month warranties, you've got a 30-day change of mind, you can split the payments. It's super easy. And because we're working with 40 of the UK's best refurbishers on that trade-in program, you can be sure that you're getting the best quality and the best price that you're receiving for those devices that you're trading in as well. So it's a much safer, more reliable, more trusted way than just sort of flipping it off
Mm.
on Facebook Marketplace.
I know, and again, I just get so nervous if I'm like buying anything like that. If you're just buying off from an individual, it's just such a minefield out there. It's like if you go to somewhere that you know has got that sort of it's been looked at, it's been refurbed, it's got the stamp of approval on it, you're like a lot more confident that it's going to turn up in the state that you think it'll turn up in.
Well, I've actually
Completely.
bought a refurb phone before, and
Oh, yes. Great.
I think a lot of people are very worried that the quality is not going to be as good or something like that. And I bought a refurb phone a couple of years ago, and I'll be completely honest with you, I could not have told the difference whether it was refurbed or not. I honestly, you would have thought it was a brand new phone.
That's exactly
I
it.
think
And
battery
most
lives,
people
people are
can't.
always worried about people are always worried about battery lives as well. That's one of the things, that's almost the main reason I upgrade my phone. So I'd always be a bit like, oh, do I want to buy, a refurb phone if the battery isn't as good.
Yeah, of course. And that's part of the certification as well with this, of the quality checks that are happening. Is the battery got the right life that we need it to have so that it's still reliable? But for you, Georgie, for people who are, I can imagine you're always on your phone, you always need it, you're always using it for work, you're always using it for your social life. It's kind of making big judgments about you here, but I imagine it's something that you're
No,
always
please, you're
needing to
correct.
be to be reliable. And even with refurbished products now, you can actually have the option to upgrade to a completely new battery. So all the rest of the phone is refurbished, but if that's your last doubt, I don't think it needs to be, but if you are worried, you can upgrade.
That's really cool. I really like it. And actually, I was obviously chatting to Katy before speaking to you guys, and I love the idea that I could like go into my messy drawer, get maybe 3 different items of tech, and then see what I could get for them, and then see what I could buy on the marketplace. So basically, like these 3 old phones. This is my vision right now. Let me sell it to you. I'm gonna trade in our 3 old phones, and then I really want to get a sound bar for my TV, which is an expense that I don't feel like I need at the moment. But I had a little look. There is one on there. It's the one I wanted. So I feel like that for me I would feel very good about that, because firstly, I'm not spending money on it, or if it is, it's only a little bit. And secondly, what I'm buying in is refurb, so I'm not sort of adding to that e-waste landfill.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely perfect.
And what you're also trading in, Georgie, as well, is giving a second lease of life to those devices that you previously had wasted in your drawer. They could be going to a family who really needs a phone for one of their teenage kids. It's really breaking that digital divide down as well by providing access to affordable tech. So win-win-win. I say let's do it. Let's get you that
no, it's
soundbar.
so true. And it does make me feel guilty, when you when you see these bits of old tech lying about the place, you think, oh God, it's still a really decent phone, or like there's nothing particularly wrong with it. I just am not being proactive about sorting it out, or I don't quite know what to do with it, or I don't know like where, or you always think, oh, I'm sure I'll get a better deal somewhere else, whatever. And you're like, no, just get on with it, and like actually move out your house, move out the messy drawer, make some room for all that other random old receipts you need to collect in there.
Well, let people use this interview as a reminder. So if you're at home now, you can do it right this second. If you're not at home now, set a reminder on your phone right now to do it when you get home tonight. Go into that messy drawer, see what tech you've got in there. Katy, if people want to find out more about Back Market and they want to contact you and find out what they can get for their technology, how are they going to do that?
Please do. It's the easiest 2-minute form that you fill out. It evaluates the tech that you've got, and that can be with computers, laptops, it can be with phones and tablets. And that 2-minute form can be found on backmarket.co.uk.
Katy, Georgie, thank you so much for talking to me. I really do appreciate it. I've found it not only really interesting, but really informative as well. So thank you.
Yeah, will you let us know if you do sell anything, and if you exchange it for something else, or like how much money you'll get for it?
100%. 100. Georgie, are you on Twitter or social medias?
Yeah, you can find me at Georgie Barrat.
So there you go. It won't be this weekend, but I will certainly do that next week. I will attack the messy drawer. I'll see what phones I can do something with, as long as my daughter doesn't nab them from me first, of course. I will get onto Back Market and I will let you know exactly what I can get.
Amazing. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. All the best, and I'll talk to you both very, very soon.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.